let me ask you this. Today is Easter. Another Easter. How many Easters have you been here?
77.
Are you 77?
Yes.
Well, you don't look it, do you?
I know. 77.
How old are you, Avery?
79.
God's been good, ain't he?
79.
Been good.
Well, y'all
for
don't
us.
look 79 and
Yeah.
77.
Well, that's what happens. We've been on that path.
Maybe I'm getting older and you don't look as old.
Let's see, Angie went to school with him.
Yeah, I went to school
Did
with
you?
Angie, yeah.
she's in his class.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, my daughter.
Yeah. It's something I don't feel 79, but
Oh,
it's
no.
every now and then I get out and think I'm still young enough to do all this other stuff.
In your mind, how old are you?
Huh?
In your mind, how old are you?
Oh, in my mind, probably about 65. I know I'm getting up there, maybe 60. But you know, I used to think that was old. Years and years ago, 60 and something until I got there. And I got there, I mean, I felt good. I was doing everything. I'm still playing golf and all kinds of stuff
Hey,
now.
golf.
Where
do you play golf at?
I played everywhere, but I played at Waterville, Chatty Valley. You know, it's Falcon Point now. That's what the name of it is.
White Oaks.
But I played everywhere. I've been to Callaway Gardens. I've been all over.
What do you shoot?
What I used to shoot in the mid 70s to 79 to 82.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's about it.
Hitting the ball.
You hit
Yeah.
it from the...
I hit from the white tee. I hit from the right tee boxes. And now then I'm able to move up to the red tee box, you know, man,
Yeah.
that's better.
Senior.
It's a lot better.
Do you think golf is more flexibility than anything?
Well,
What was that
that's
sport?
a good question. I
think
think
it
it
is.
is.
The older you get, that's
Yeah.
where you need to go.
Because some of those young guys can really get
Oh,
back
yeah.
and swing
Oh,
it.
yeah.
They seem to
Oh,
really
yeah.
hit it.
Oh, yeah.
Who do you play? You play golf with the same people?
I play with everybody. I've been everywhere.
But do you have a regular team?
Well, I don't now. I'm not playing as much now as I'd like to play. But back when Maytag went from 5 days a week to 4 days a week, we met every Friday morning at Steadfield's and had breakfast, and about 12 to 16 of us would head out, going to play golf. We've been to Gatlinburg. We've been all the way to Nashville. We've been everywhere playing golf.
Well, who was in that group?
Oh,
that I would
my
know?
goodness. Rulie Smith was number one. And every now and then, George Kyle, we'd let him in. George is
George, I remember George.
Yeah, George Kyle. But Dave Chapman was in that group.
What's Andy's name?
Renee Maddox. Huh?
Andy that works across the street in engineering.
Which one?
Big tall guy, Andy. Call him Andy.
Huh?
Andy, I can't think of his last name.
I don't know. But I mean, I
He's
worked at
really
Maytag, and so a lot of guys that worked there.
Jim Palmer wasn't in that group, was it? That was
No,
Neil
but I
Parks.
played with him.
Neil Parks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember George Kyle. He died, right?
No, George is still living. Roy, his brother died.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roy Kyle, he died. But I mean, it's
Hope
just.
George ain't listening.
Yeah.
Hope George ain't listening.
No, it's a lot.
Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong George Kyle.
You may be. You may be. This George Kyle, he lives out on.
You know,
Well, he's by Bauer School right now.
Did he used to
His
be
wife
the
died.
Kyle Dodge guy?
no.
No.
That's the wrong one. I'm thinking of another Kyle.
Yeah, I remember George.
You remember him?
Yeah, he's over there like that.
Yeah.
He's the owner's son.
The owner's son. That's
Yeah,
right.
I remember you
Yeah,
talking about
yeah. George is from up in Blue Ridge Mountains.
Oh.
His whole family is, but they came to Cleveland. Most of them worked at Maytag, you know.
Did you, when you was at Maytag, you didn't move over to the new Whirlpool place? You'd already retired, right?
Oh yeah, I had just retired about a year.
Did you know my uncle Ted Gobble?
Oh yeah,
That's my uncle.
I
Is
didn't
that
know
right?
that.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
I know
No
Ted
Ted
real
real
well.
well.
He's
Yeah.
nice, his wife.
Oh yeah,
son.
his wife's my mother's sister.
Is that right?
Wow.
Judy.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I
It's a
tell you.
small world.
Yeah,
isn't
it
Oh,
is.
it is.
They're
It
nice.
really
They're
is.
nice
Yeah, I
as
knew
they come.
Ted
They
real
don't.
well.
They're like perfect.
They
Yeah,
are.
Yeah, and Tim.
Tim, that's my
Yeah,
cousin.
Yeah.
Tony,
Yeah.
Tim, Tony, Tyler, Taylor, and they had a dog named Teddy.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Tony's the mechanic.
Tony's mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
Small world.
It's
My
you
goodness.
can't talk about anybody, can you?
Oh
No,
no,
you can't.
you do. You're gonna
can't.
strike a
I can
nerve.
tell you some stories about that. I'm telling you.
It'll come back
You
to
never
haunt
know
you.
who you're talking about. I mean, you got to be careful.
back
You ever
to-
gotten really embarrassed I mean, talk to the wrong person and
No, but I did. I was sitting at a table one time, I guess. Sitting at a table one time, 8 guys sitting there, you know, the door open, this beautiful girl walked in. It was really Sue Cartwright from Polk County. And she walked in and she looked beautiful, and the guy leaned over and said, "Boy, I'd love to get to know that one, wouldn't you?" And he was talking to a guy next to him. He wasn't talking to me. He said, "I'd love to, you know, meet her, wouldn't you?" And the guy told us, "Yeah, if it wasn't my sister." I mean, the guy shut up and he got up and left. He never said nothing else.
He wanted to
know,
run. That's what he wanted to do.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, you could take that as a compliment too, couldn't you?
Oh, yeah, Lord, yeah. We all, you know, used to do some crazy stuff, say some stupid stuff.
Not even thinking.
Not thinking, you know.
Gotta be
But
yourself.
it was life, and it was a lot of fun back then.
There's a fine line between being yourself and, you know, a lot of times we say something that we're not really thinking. We're just.
You don't want to offend anybody else.
You don't want to offend anybody.
That's right. That's the key.
No.
That's the key. You don't want to offend anybody.
That's right.
Yeah.
What they get offended about now is crazier than it used to be, isn't it?
Oh, Lord.
Short-tempered. You know, we used to say, "Hey,
Chill out, man.
chill out, man, and it's over." You know?
Cool it.
Yeah. It's just like a 12-year-old gonna whoop up on a 17-year-old. That ain't gonna happen.
That ain't gonna happen.
It ain't gonna happen. I tell people that all the time. I said, then they go home and mom and dad give them a gun. Go back out there and kill it. See that? That's the way it was with me. You learn, you grow up.
Yeah.
Have you lost weight?
Yeah.
How much?
Oh, I'd say 60 pounds.
It's 60 pounds.
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah. Yeah, I've lost quite a bit.
Was you on a diet
Well,
or
I
what?
jog and I walk. I can still do that. I walk on Peerless Road. You probably see me sometime. Got a cane in my hand.
No, but next time I do, I'll blow.
Okay, I'm on Peerless Road. Everybody does. I'm on Peerless Road.
You're one of my favorite people.
Yeah, I know.
Andrew.
Hey,
Yeah.
well, you know, when you get involved in things, certain people you have to listen to. And see, I came to you because I said I know which way I wanted to go, but I didn't want to what? Remember the last word I said? I didn't want to offend nobody.
That's right.
You know, you told me who it would be offended, and you told me who would not be offended. And I said, well, I just go split down the middle.
That's right.
So they got to accept.
Can't make anybody mad that
That's
way.
right. That's exactly right. And it worked out for me. You know, I'm sorry. It works out for me. Because if you don't, you know, everybody has to listen to somebody. I don't care who you are. You don't know everything. Some people think they got the right answers for everything.
I don't know nothing
I don't
anymore.
either.
I don't know nothing.
And I'm willing to learn.
Yeah, I've forgotten more than I know now. I've been around, done everything. My life has been just a miracle.
Your life has really been fascinating.
It's really has.
And if you was to put it in the book, it'd say,
Oh,
"Well, that's a fascinating life."
Yeah, that's true.
Did you know Raymond Woods?
Raymond Woods from Charleston? Or
No, from over around.
Decatur?
I think where you were raised. Where were you raised?
I was raised right there in East Cleveland near Galt Street.
Well, that's where he was raised. And Gene Officer.
Yeah, I know Gene.
You know Gene?
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
Gene. He used
This
to live
one-
right there on Dooley Street.
It's one of my
Yeah.
best friends.
Yeah, you
Is
remember
that
Gene
right?
Officer?
Yeah, well, see, Johnny Watson was one of my best friends.
Well, there was Johnny Watson, and one of his best friends was Larry Presswood
Yeah.
and Raymond Woods. And Raymond
Benny?
Woods cut my hair for years.
Yeah, see,
Glenn?
we knew Raymond Presswood. I mean, what's Presswood, the one that
Larry.
Plant Larry?
Yeah.
We knew him real well.
Yeah,
real
he
well.
was raised up
They
in
had a
our
little
neighborhood.
store.
Right across the street.
Yeah,
They had a little store right there,
Him and Glenn Beatty.
right
know
off
him.
of Inman
Yeah,
Street.
his dad run a radio shop there. He fixed radios and all that. TVs
You talking about
and
Woody?
all. No,
Bill
Glenn
Woody.
Beatty.
Yeah, Glenn Biddy.
Biddy,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And he was a
Okay.
boxer. He used to go to country clubs on Saturdays and box.
Yeah.
Little
Biddy.
bitty fella.
Now, whereabouts on Galt?
Who?
Where was your house? Was y'all's house still there?
We was right on Galt Street.
Right behind the
in
store.
the middle, right behind the Watson's grocery
behind
store.
the
There
Watson's
was one
grocery store.
house there, right?
Watson's
direct-
or?
It
Watson's.
was Watson's grocery store.
Yeah, it was right there.
Right
the
there on
very
the corner.
first one.
Corner of Inman and Galt.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think of where that is, man.
Well, did you remember the big fruit stand? Was that you old enough?
Isn't there a car lot there now?
Huh?
No. It's
Car
on
lot?
up the next block
Next block.
where that service station's at.
That's right.
Right there. Then you come across
Oh.
the street. And that's where Watson's grocery store used to be.
What's your earliest memory of living there?
Of living? there.
There. How old was you when you?
Well, when I was there, I was about 9 to 10 years old.
Now, were
On
y'all
Gulf Street.
originally? Was your family originally from Cleveland?
No, my family is originally from Hollywood, Alabama, Stevenson, Alabama. But my family,
Bridgeport.
my mother, my grandmother, they all moved up here in 1938 in the 30s. You know, after my granddad died.
About the
Then
time
they-
this house was built.
Yeah, and my mother was the youngest daughter. My grandmother had 8 kids. She had 4 boys and 4 girls. And my mother was the youngest one of all of them. But we moved up here and I've lived on Dooley Street. I've lived on Shepherd Street where the pool is right now.
Yeah.
And I lived on Gulf Street, you know, quite a bit when I was growing up and going to school. And I lived on 4th Street.
What brought them to Cleveland?
Well, because my grandfather died. And the thing about Cleveland had a reputation of not having a lot of violence, racial violence. And especially with young men, because my grandmother had four boys. And it was not safe in Alabama, Georgia, a lot of places. There's a lot of lynching going on, a whole lot of stuff going on. And they heard about Cleveland, Tennessee, about how things were in Cleveland, and that blacks got along and whites got along, and things were pretty good in Cleveland. So that's when they moved to Cleveland. In 1938, after my granddad died, my grandmother, she just got all the kids and moved to Cleveland and opened up her restaurant.
Did she have a plan, reckon?
Yeah. I mean, her plan was that she just wanted to get away and get her kids safe and then find a little place where she can open up her business. And she opened up her business, which was called the Ever Ready Cafe. That's her standing there.
Ever Ready Cafe.
Yeah, that's her standing in the middle of a restaurant
That's her
right there. And as a kid, I used to go up there and
Can't find my glass. Oh.
pack out the drink box and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, but
And,
that was her.
How wide was this?
It's probably about. It wasn't that wide.
Well, you
It's probably
figure there's
about
4 feet here, 2 feet,
That's
5 feet.
about 8 to 9 or 10 feet wide.
God, can you get that, Glenn?
Is it 20 feet?
Probably 20 feet. Is that building still there?
No,
No.
what happened was when the urban renewal come through, they tore down all of that.
Oh,
and,
I remember. That's what Larry talked about.
Yeah,
How
and
about
they,
that, Glenn?
my grandmother, the reason why she was in that building,
Yeah.
Can you zoom in? Wow, I'm holding this thing wrong.
Yep. And that's what she did. She opened up that restaurant. And you talking about a lady?
How's
She
that?
was somebody. Her name was Debbie McCarver.
Delvey,
Debbie.
D-E-L.
Debbie. D-O-B-I-E.
D-O-B-I-E. that's
Debbie.
her name right there.
McCarver. M-C-C-A-R-V-E-R.
Oh, Debbie.
Yeah.
Delvey.
Debbie McCarver.
And the reason why she's in this building,
Uh-huh.
after her husband died, she had to figure out a way that she was going to support her family. Well, the reason why she went in that building was on account of Masonic Lodge.
Was it upstairs?
It was upstairs.
Is that where Spoonies is now?
No,
No.
Spoonies is across the street. It's in the
Okay,
same
okay.
building upstairs, and the shoe shop was on the other side of
Mm-hmm.
hers. A.L. Thomas's shoe shop.
Let's see, the Masonic Lodge, that would be the, I'm a member of the Cleveland Lodge.
Yeah, it's Masons.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's where it was. It was upstairs there.
How old would you have been during this picture?
Oh, I could have been in that picture when I was probably, 8-year-old. I could have probably been maybe, I grew up when that picture there was taken after I was about 8, 9-year-old.
Do you remember it like this?
Oh yeah, I had chores. I had to come there after school, and
Yeah.
she had chores for all the grandkids.
What was the food like?
The food was the best in
Like
town.
meat and three or
Oh,
what?
no, they had chili, they had stew, and she fixed anything. A lot of people would actually have stuff they bring down and ask her to cook it for them.
I guarantee you, if you ate her chili,
But and they would come
get
there
sold.
from everywhere, especially when they had ball games, in town, and that's over at the JC ballpark, which was where the Boys and Girls Club is.
Now, where was the kitchen? Or was that
The
it?
kitchen is right behind that. right behind that scene, that fence back there. No,
Okay.
back there, right
back
there.
here. behind
Okay.
us,
That's the
right
door that goes into the
there. There's a
kitchen
little
right
door
there.
right in there.
She looked like she was there for business, buddy.
Well,
He's
I
in
tell you.
control.
You see the apron she got on, you know, and everything. And she's a good, sweet old lady. But she
Would you
didn't
have
take
ever
no-
thought that she would have thought when she had this picture taken that
Oh yeah.
80 years later,
here
me
we
and
are.
you'd be talking about it?
Yeah, that's right. She probably never thought about it.
That's Now this is in the back, right? Who's
No,
this?
that's my aunt. She took over the business after my granny died.
Yeah,
That's
Okay,
Aunt
okay.
Alice Jarrett.
yeah.
That's my mother's
Who's
sister.
this here?
That's Touche, they call him Terrell Johnson.
Terrell Johnson, Too Shady?
Yeah, he played football at Cleveland.
Yeah, Bradley.
Good football player.
He played at Bradley.
Touche?
Yeah, he played football at Bradley. He was up in Sevierville, and he cut out running. He got away from this guy, and the guy kept after him. He said, Andrew, if the guy had hit me, he said, he'd kill me. He ran 90 yards the wrong way. He told me that one day at work.
That's the tea right here, or is that coffee, I guess?
That's probably coffee.
Coffee, yeah.
Yeah.
Their specialty was fish sandwiches. They used to order fish
Well, that's what Spoonie's had.
out of
Yeah.
Virginia,
Yeah, that was
and
her
they bring them in
special.
them wood crates,
Mm-hmm.
and they come in on the train every Thursday and have it packed in ice. And man, you talking about sandwiches? Wow, fish sandwich, and she could fix chili, homemade chili. You was drunk. Time you got through eating the chili, you'd be sober. Sweat be coming
Was it
out.
hot?
It was hot.
Spicy.
Spicy. Real good. Yeah, they fixed everything. Chitlins, it was good on that.
Would like Larry Press would have come in here and eat?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people.
Because it
doing
was
that.
right in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
His daughter used to
everybody
dance
did
with
that.
my sister. They come in the restaurant up there, they had a jukebox.
You know, I think Larry told me that.
Yeah,
The House of the Happy Feet, was that it?
No,
Or
Yeah.
that
no,
different?
That's
in
on
the
down the
Everett, that's
street.
on down the
Yeah.
street where the,
Yeah, it started out as a skating rink.
yeah.
Yeah. Then
That's
they turned
right.
it into a dance hall.
It used to be McCamis's chair factory.
Yeah.
And the skating rink was upstairs.
You know, that was a real popping area then, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very popular.
I mean,
and
that-
there's a lot of businesses there. People don't realize it, but in East Cleveland, they had all kind of business. They had dry cleaners, bake shops. They had restaurants on top of restaurants. They had pool hall, barber shop, shoe shop.
Now, what makes those places die down?
Well, urban renewal was the reason why that one just went away.
Yeah.
Because they came in and claimed they was going to do a whole lot of stuff, fixing the sidewalks, widening the streets, and all that kind of stuff. You know, and then they were going to have to buy everybody out. Well, they bought them out, and they never did
Just
that.
killed it. Larry said that it was a thriving community till they did that.
Oh yeah,
It was.
yeah,
Those people,
it was.
that's
It
where
really
a lot
was.
of those people made their
Yeah, it
living.
really was.
And then
Yeah.
you had a grocery store over there,
Yeah,
pool hall, and you had
That was downtown
two
Cleveland.
or three
yeah,
cafes.
it was.
About 4 cafes on that
Yeah.
one strip.
Yeah,
What was the name of her cafe again?
Ever Ready. Cafe.
Ever Ready.
Yeah,
Well, how-
Ever
what
Ready.
was her hours? Oh, here's the
She
menu.
got the hours
She would
right
open
there.
up in the morning.
7:30
About 9
to
o'clock.
11:30.
Yeah,
That was it.
Well, she was working, wasn't she?
Yeah.
yeah.
So let's see.
Yeah, another one was Busy Bee. It was across the street, and they specialize in meatloaf and pinto beans.
Yeah,
I've eaten at Earl's.
Yeah.
yeah. Yep, it's a lot of history there.
She didn't have a price. There's not a price on it.
No.
Yeah.
They
A
sure-
lot
Well,
of
times
history.
have changed, haven't they?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know, everybody's looking for commercial property, and they could go over there and get it.
Yeah. Right.
I never could figure out that. You know, when we was on the planning commission, they changed that area to be a industrial. What do they call that?
Yeah. It's a gateway.
Well, you all know, but you're a city
Yeah.
councilman.
Yeah, it's a gateway to the city now, and you know, and they have special way that they set them up, and now they're beginning to honor that. They just didn't even look that way and consider it to be a gateway into Cleveland. But since we had so many people coming to Cleveland working, transported from Polk County and all different places in the east, you know, up in the east from the east side. It's just huge. It was huge back then, really big. And they did change it to a gateway to the city, you know, which comes with a lot of other things, a lot of developments. And we talk about it every now and then, and we trying to get more businesses to come over there. If we could get us some McDonald's or something else. We got the service station, on the corner. But I mean, there used to be restaurants on both sides of the street all the way down to
It's
where
not
the
like
swimming pool.
people won't come there because they did.
Oh yeah, yeah, still a lot of people live in that particular area. A lot of people.
If they could get sewer in East Cleveland, I never have figured that one out. Have you?
Yeah. No.
Because if you go across a little ways past there where there's no sewer, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, I bet it is. Yeah.
I mean, there's some poor people live over there.
Yeah, it is. And
If you had sewer, it wouldn't be that.
yeah. And when you go northeast, after you go on the other path, you go northeast, the city limit ain't very far.
No.
I think it's about 11th Street, somewhere like that.
We used to have a junkyard over there.
Junkyard, Ballard, was it Ballard's?
No,
Yeah.
Rick Michael's.
Michael's.
Michael's junkyard.
Yeah.
You know
Then it
Rick
became
Michael?
Ballard's,
It was his
right?
daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He later.
yeah.
Well, Ballard's is the one out by Hill Street. It was out there.
Oh, okay.
It was located there at Hill Street. But
Does it bother you seeing all these changes?
Oh yeah, it bothered me a lot.
It's
See a lot of-
disturbing, isn't it?
Yeah, but it needed to be.
I
We
guess.
we needed to have changes. It was just that what really bothered me is that they didn't do what they said they was going to do. They just put a lot of people out of business, and then you end up doing a lot of research and looking at the history of it. And most of it is because integration was coming, and they wanted to be able to have the white businesses were established real strong all over Cleveland. But people don't really know Cleveland like a lot of us do. I've had the opportunity to meet and know a lot about Cleveland growing up here my whole life. And Cleveland is really a good place. It's really a good place. It's just whenever the federal government, the state got involved, and a lot of things like that happened when we're going through the 50s and the 60s, because I was walking those streets over as a kid in the 50s and the 60s. And so things began to change quite a bit, and then especially in the 60s, because that's when the school was burnt down, and when they finally ended up all black kids going to Cleveland High School or either going to other elementary schools in Cleveland,
So the school burnt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The school burnt down in 1966.
How come? Just fire? Just regular fire?
Well, it's a long story behind it all. But see, integration was beginning. And
Oh.
they were starting to bus people and bus kids. And so they were busing, and actually they had some white kids that went to College Hill.
It's one
They
boy-
were doing all right till they started busing, but when they started busing kids, then that it just didn't go well with a lot of people. But we had integration. We had integrated schools, and then
About what year?
that's 66. I mean,
66.
it really started in about 64 is when some of the kids, like the Scott family, they all transferred to Bradley High School. In 64 on,
That was about the time of the Vietnam War, right?
Yeah.
It was really hot then.
Right.
Getting
exactly.
hot.
Exactly.
And we had one white family that had a son. He graduated from College Hill High School, the only one.
Is that right?
Yeah, his name was Hobart Hill. He used to work down there at Lincoln Mercury.
Yeah, Mullinax. Yeah.
Mullinax, but
How
he-
come him to go to? So back
he
then,
was- they were living in the community there.
So back then, if you were white, you didn't typically go to the black school and vice versa.
No, but back
See,
then,
I can't even wrap my
it's hard
head
to
around
comprehend
that.
that.
All I know is
Yeah.
what you see on TV, but I
Yeah.
can't wrap my
Yeah.
head around that.
No, it was there. I actually graduated from an all-black school, College Hill.
College Hill.
Good school, great school,
Yeah.
best teachers in the world. And they used to tell us all the time that we need to work hard, study, and be prepared because things are going to change. And when things change, we need to be ready. I remember hearing that every week when I went to school at College Hill.
Can you imagine this lady in this picture coming here in 1938, right? Roughly,
Yeah.
saying, my grandson
Mm-hmm.
will be the city councilman here.
Yeah. No, it's hard to realize.
That's a testament to her and to you.
Yeah.
But not only that, it's
Yeah.
a testament to the community.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It is.
that's
But
exactly
it-
right.
but
That's
Cleveland's a
exactly
great
right.
place. It's a good place to
Yeah,
live.
it is. Yeah.
It really is. I've always, the way I've always looked at it this way, If somebody did you wrong on the other side, and they were white, they did you wrong, somebody else would come along and make it right. They know how to ease the pain. That's the reason why you don't have no confusion. Somebody, like I said, everybody's got somebody that you got to listen to.
Wonder what makes Cleveland like that.
It's very unique.
Oh, it's the people.
It's got to be.
It was the people back then. I could tell you a lot of stories
I
about
went to churches
how
here.
things went, even where we worked there. You know, 'cause when me and Andrew went to work at Maytag, they had colored water fountains, white water fountains.
Now, you first went to work at,
I went to work at Magic Chef.
or Cleveland, oh yeah, Cleveland Foundry at the
Yeah,
time.
Cleveland
So
Foundry.
they had, at the time you went there, they had black and white water fountains.
Yeah, and restrooms,
I just can't-
shower
I
stalls,
can't-
all of that
Yeah.
was separate.
What? I don't understand
Well, I
that.
can tell you this. He can tell you. This is a story behind the white water fountain. Back in the early '60s, you know, when they passed the act, the Civil Rights Act. Okay, and so my aunt, she was running the restaurant, and one night I stopped by and got me a great big old chicken sandwich. Oh, it was awesome. And I said, well, I'm gonna pack it in my lunch and take it to work. Well, I did. And so they had black restrooms and white restrooms. And so I went there to get my lunch. After I done put up so many moles, I said, well, it's time for me to take a break. I went to get my sandwich. Well, when I did, I got ready to take a bite of it. I looked and saw paper falling to the floor. A big old rat had got a hold of my sandwich out of the locker and eat the back out of it. And I got just about deathly sick.
I bet.
I went straight to Avery because we both was molders. I went straight to Avery. I said, Avery, today is the day. He said, what are you talking about? I said, you gonna see, the day's the day. I said, I'm gonna get me some of that cold water over there today. I'm not drinking that old other water because it's so hot. And I said, I ain't had no food and I'm getting some of that cold water. I went over there and I hit that water fountain, got me a drink of water. Fella come through and said, oh boy, we got a smart ass here just like that. And I said, well, you can call me that if you want to. I said, but I'll tell you one thing, if you need my help, I'll be the first one in line to help you. You and your family. And then he just grinned and walked off. Well, about 2 weeks later, Skeet sent for all the blacks in the plant, Skeet Reimer. He told them he's getting ready to integrate. He said nothing to me or nobody. He said, I'm getting ready to integrate. And said, what we're going to do, we're getting rid of white water fountains, we're getting rid of the black water fountain, we're getting rid of the white restrooms and the black restroom. We're going to integrate. Said, it's going to be over with. Well, another week went by. He called all the people, about 2,000 something people, outside the whole plant. He said, we're getting ready to integrate, and we're going to get rid of all this discrimination for white water fountains and black water fountains. Said, we're going to get rid of all that, but it's going to take time. He said, but I want to tell you something. Anybody here that doesn't like it said, y'all can leave. You need to leave now. Not a one left. But see, that's where I was talking about that people up the ladder. They wanted to do what? The right
Shout
thing.
out to Skeet Reimer.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. They wanted to do the right thing.
Was you nervous for that 2 weeks?
No, oh no. I know Skeet. He knowed I was a hard worker. He knowed Avery was a hard worker, and we could talk to him. Yeah, and he would listen. Yeah, we had several meetings, like with the NAACP, trying to get blacks to go into the factories and go to work in the offices and have some of these better supervisor jobs. Well, we had set up a meeting one time, and it's right after lunch. Me and Avery was going to go and we on the NAACP committee for hiring practices for black. Well, we go there. We have this meeting with him. But then the superintendent come in the meeting, and we was meeting, asking him why ain't they upgraded some of these jobs for blacks to get some of them supervisors and working the clerks in the office and things. And some of them, well, you know, seem to think, well, it ain't time. But then Charlie, the guy, I didn't call his name, but anyway, he was superintendent. He said that one thing he did, he thought it was really odd was, said, I just want to tell you, it's what he said, I want to tell you boys something. Said, we've been awful good to you, man. Look where you at right now. Avery spoke up and said, well, you ain't give me nothing. Everything I got, I earned it. You know, just like that. And so anyway, we went on.
Well, yeah.
And the place to this day, people don't realize what people had to go through with to get to where they're at right now. And it was all over Cleveland. Bowwaters, Duracell, Bendix, they started hiring them.
Yeah, but that
And
was
not that long ago.
No,
in
and
the
Skeet-
scheme of things.
But you know what Skeet told us when we left? Before we left his office?
What?
It's the only thing I'm gonna ask you fellows to do. Do me a favor. Y'all make sure you go to these other plants. And so anyway, and he told superintendent, he said, I'm gonna tell you something. If Avery and Andrew come to you and they want off work to go take care of some of this business, you better let them off. See, that's what I say.
Well, we
people
were
do.
on.
You ain't never heard those.
We
things.
were on what they
No.
call the Industry and Labor Committee
Yeah.
for the NAACP, and we had a guy by the name of Jesse White, and he worked at American Uniform, but he was president of the Industry and Labor Committee for the NAACP, and it was 5 of us that met with Skeet Reimer and told me it was time for a change to start promoting blacks in the supervision because they were pretty well educated. We had some in the plant then that even had degrees, had been to college and everything, but they just needed a job and they were working. And so finally, you know, he told us, he said, well, let me have some time to think about it. But he had the personnel director there. He had the plant superintendent at that time, you know, was in the meeting, and Skeet was in the meeting. And there was a lot of people from high up in the company that was at the meeting. But me and my brother Andrew, Mr. A.B. Thomas, Mr. Howard Thomas, Reverend B.C. Young, we were part of the Industry and Labor Committee, and we were going all over town, different industries. And so 2 weeks later, Skeet called us back, and he said, okay, I found somebody, and we're going to start promoting blacks into supervision. And they did. They had one fellow. His name was Nathan Westfield. 2 weeks later, he was the first black supervisor in the whole plant.
And qualified, et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and then
Because everybody had 12 years of education at that point. I mean, the
yeah,
ones that were, I
yeah.
mean, they weren't wanting
Yeah.
to go in the office straight off the
Oh, no.
the farm.
no,
They had to know what they were
They
doing.
knew what they were doing.
right,
Yeah.
right,
You're right.
yeah. We had some pretty good people in supervision, but that gets even better than that.
Oh, yeah.
But
It's
but
so
this
much better.
but now this is up. This is up when you're what, 25,
No,
20?
I was in my 20s.
So, but prior to that,
Yeah.
there was a big distinction between.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, they didn't have any black managers, any black leadership at all, nowhere in the plant. And once they put Nathan Westfield in, then they came along a couple of weeks later and they told me they wanted me to go in. So I was the second black supervisor that went into management and stuff like that. And I did it. And then before I left there, I saw that count get to 17. They had 17 all over the plant between first, second, third shift, you know. And I mean, they just blacks. But then it changed somewhat.
Let me tell you about Capstar Bank. They're located in Nashville, Hendersonville, Gallatin, Athens, Madisonville, Sweetwater, Etowah, and in Cleveland at 950 25th Street and 3855 North Ocoee Street. I've used them. I like them. Give them a try. They're no problem. Do you remember the first day you walked into the Cleveland Foundry, I guess?
Yeah, Maytag, Magic Chef.
Hey.
Well, they were changing the name from Dixie Products to Magic Chef. Yeah.
So you went in and applied for a job.
Well, it's different. I had applied for a job, but I had to do it on a Sunday. And I had to go and talk to somebody, and this guy name was Walt Townsend. Walt Townsend was the superintendent of the garage department. And also later, at one time, he was superintendent of the steel department, steel room, where they mold everything, made a lot of stuff, you know. And I had to go and meet with him on a Sunday afternoon just so he would be able to recommend that they hire me, you know. And he did.
Yeah.
He did. I didn't go straight to the personnel because that would have been wasting my time, you know.
Well, it's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But I had
we
interviewed on a Sunday afternoon.
Well, we both wound up in management as
Yeah.
supervisor. I was
Yeah.
a supervisor for 37 years.
37
Of the
years.
43 years that I worked
For some
there.
reason, I was thinking you worked at Bowaters.
No, I worked at Maytag, Magic Chef.
37 years.
37 years. I molded. That was the littlest thing in there. They had a bet on that I wasn't going to make it. I said, they just don't know who they're talking to.
Anybody drink out of the wrong water fountain ain't gonna be scared of
yeah.
working.
Oh,
there.
no. They knew it worked.
Yeah, we was all over the
Yeah,
place.
and hard work.
You know,
pays
you may
off.
have been the initial cause of that.
Oh yeah.
That rat was.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's always a rat in the bunch. And that's what
There's a
he
lot
stirred
going
up a whole lot in me. I said, I can't sit here and do this.
It was a lot going on.
It was.
You know, it really was.
Yeah.
And
Was
Skeet
it-
was listening to
Did
everything.
you feel it endangered in any way?
Oh no.
Just
Yeah,
not
I just
equal.
wanted to get things moving and see some changes, you know. And the thing about it is everybody wanted to see changes because see in Birmingham and all around us, the thing that really got it moving was when they bombed the church in Alabama and killed the 4 little girls.
Yeah.
That's when Skeet Reimer took to the streets, shut the plant down, and told them it wasn't going to be no more. Now this is after we done already met with Skeet too. And then they bombed that church and killed those girls. He said, okay. Said enough is enough. And that's when he called the plant together and he told them, said, we're not going to have any more separate restrooms.
It took a lot of nerve for
no
him.
more of the other stuff.
I guess.
Well,
He's
he
a leader.
knew
He's
I
a
mean,
leader in the community.
he knew that the
Yeah.
time was right. It's time. It's a sad situation, but the time was right to go ahead and make some changes, you know.
He didn't have no hot heads. We wasn't no hot heads about nothing. We
You just wanted to work.
just
Yeah.
wanted to work, make a decent wage, where I take care of my family.
That's all you're asking.
That's it. That was my prayer every day when I got up. Was I prayed for God to give me strength to do my job, that I stay closed in my right mind, and everything else is secondary. Anything else I needed, God gave it to me. If He gave me strength to get up and go to work, that's what I needed. Keep me closed in my right mind and good health. I should be able to support my family. I shouldn't have to look over my shoulder, worrying if I'm going to get busted down or not. No, that should never ever happen.
Your grandmother that came to Cleveland really propelled that. Or at least gave a path.
Yeah, but you know, back then though, when she came to Cleveland, things were beginning to change, but it was safe. It was a safe environment. That's the reason why she came here after her husband had died. Her protector and all of that, and all the kids that she had. Then the rumor was, and it's in the book that's written by Dr. Snell, Cleveland the Beautiful, and there's another book called Bradley Divided. It's got a lot of history of the black
Who
community.
wrote that?
Bradley Divided.
Yeah.
It was written by a lady by the name of Irma something. I can't remember her
She's
last
still
name.
alive?
No, she's not alive, you know. But the book was written back several years ago. Yeah, it has a lot of history of Cleveland, you know. Inman, Irma, yeah, Inman.
So I guess that's
Inman,
in
something
Inman
other. And
Street.
then there's a third name
Yeah.
that she's got. But yeah, she wrote a lot of the history. And the book that she wrote was called Bradley Divided.
You ever think about how that stuff has changed since 1965, roughly?
Oh, yeah.
Till,
Oh, yeah.
60 years,
Yeah.
70 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we imagine what's going to happen in the next 70 years?
Yeah.
We say, well, not much is going to change, but who would ever thought in 1960
That things would
that
change
changed
like
that much?
Yeah. That's right.
Do you sense racism now?
Do I
Do
still?
you sense it any?
Every now and then, it's just a strange look. Somebody when they, you know, but not really. I mean, nothing bothers me like that much now. Because it's not a majority. I mean, anytime you see something like that, it's just an individual. It's not a majority. It's not a group of people, but they are in a lot of places. Because they're definitely out there. And they're definitely all over the world, all over the country, especially the United States. You know, thousands and thousands of them, millions and millions of them that still want to go back to the good old days like that. But for the most part, everybody wants things to come together. They
Well,
wanna
we're
move
all
on.
on the same team.
Yeah.
We're all on the same.
Yeah, they
team.
want to move on.
I had a solution to all the problems, you know, like the police have with blacks, arresting blacks. Well, there was some discrimination there. They was targeted.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have a solution to the problem. The problem would have been, I want you to look at this picture right here. What you see is That's Chief Luther Goodman.
Mm-hmm.
Used to build the police department here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
He was the police chief.
Police
Yeah,
chief
this in the 50s.
Right there.
in the 50s, and look at all those black boys that surrounded. And this will solve the problem. Whenever you go into a community, you got to know how to bond with people. You don't go in with an iron hand, and then you're going to tell the black boy, don't you run from me. He's already frightened. He's already scared. He's been humiliated. But if you go into a community and you bond with them, look at all these black boys that you see. And which one do you see on there with a tie on?
And there ain't one of them scared of him.
No,
Which one's got a tie on?
No, they wait. They can't wait.
You
till
see
he
the one
come
that's
back.
got the tie on?
Yep, right here.
That's it. Okay. I'm going to tell you who he is. His name is Walter Haggett. He wound up being a lieutenant in the police department. See, this
Because of that.
This is what I'm talking about. Because of this. And then these young men here, they wasn't afraid of the policemen. You know what happens when the Ku Klux Klans would come through? You know what would happen? You'd have John Eubanks. He was a policeman. He'd be in the community. They said, well, he's got us covered. Because what? He's bonded with you when you're little. I was a little bitty fella. John Eubanks used to pick me up, set me on his motorcycle, got caught. Set me on his motorcycle, and ride me around the block. And what did that tell me about a policeman? I had all the respect for them that I could have when I was growing up. They was what? They were my protectors. But that's what people got away from. You start training people. You start training them how educated you have to be. But some things have to be so simple that you just got to be kind to people.
Andy Griffith wouldn't have had a bit of problem, would he?
No,
No.
no.
No,
That
that's the
that type of attitude is what you're
right.
talking
But you
about.
give
That's
some
right.
people a weapon.
Oh, they go crazy.
Hey, I'm in authority. You got to listen to me.
You put some people in
Yeah, I
a
know.
position of
Yeah.
authority, they can't handle it. They
No.
just turn like that.
Yeah.
And he wound up being over security at Cleveland State Community College.
Was he a policeman here?
Yeah, right here in Cleveland. And he was really up to be the chief.
Walter Hackett.
Walter Hackett. He could have been the police chief. He was up for it.
Yeah.
Not alive now, right?
No,
No.
he's dead. Yeah. But that's what I tell people. And I looked at that.
That's
I
how
said,
you do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what if I was going all around the country and I was speaking like that?
Yeah.
You think some of them would get it?
Yeah.
I think a lot of them would, but you'll have a certain segment to say, oh, no, that ain't real. But this right here is real as it can be.
That's real.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
wonder why he was wearing a tie.
well,
He
that's-
was already thinking ahead, wasn't he? That guy.
yeah, his
Yeah.
people was.
Yeah.
His granny and
Yeah,
his
whoever,
papa,
yeah.
I mean, his dad, they was all thinking ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all the people that's on there, he wound up being in the police department.
Speaking of authority, you're a city councilman,
Yeah. Vice mayor also.
vice mayor.
Been vice mayor for 20 years of the city of Cleveland.
That is a really
Yeah.
big responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been good though.
How many of them are there, city
It's
council?
7. Well, it's 7 on the whole panel, but that's counting the mayor. So there's really 6. No, it's really 7. 7 of them. 2 at large, and then 5 are running in districts. 5.
Do you ever have to run?
Huh?
You run? Have
I
to run
run
for
every 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
So you haven't had opponent, have you?
Oh yeah, I
have you?
had plenty. I've had more than I haven't had. I
Oh,
only
that's
run,
right. Oh, that's
I
right.
only run
Yeah.
one time when I did not have somebody run against. That was the very first time.
What do you do to win? Do you get out and knock on doors
yeah.
and campaign like?
Oh yeah, but we know a lot of people because I worked at Maytag a long time. So did Andrew, and most time when we're knocking on doors, it's somebody we know. You know, I tell you one story. I knocked on a fellow's door. Me and Andrew was together. I knocked on the door to ask him, could we put a signage on? He said, well, mister, we don't do signs. I said, well, I'm from Cleveland. I figured, well, he don't know me. I said, I'm from Cleveland, Tennessee. I said, and I've been here my whole life, and I've actually worked at Maytag. And so he said, well, my grandfather worked at Maytag. I said, he did? I said, what was his name? He said, his name was Roy Hassinger. I said, Roy Hassinger and I worked together, son, for over 25 years. I know your granddaddy. I said, not only, he didn't even tell me this. I said, not only do I know your grandfather, but I know your grandmother, Louise. She works in the cafeteria. And he looked at me and he said, well, mister, I apologize. He said, I'll tell you what, He was telling me and Andrew, he said, I tell you what, you can put a sign over here and you can put another one over here on this end because I own that lot too.
That's how you do it, buddy.
But I mean, it's just people like that all over town. We know a lot of people.
Yeah.
And people, what really surprised me about the knocking on door method, they know you. They know how you voted on this issue, that issue. They know all about it. They know so much. I mean, it's kind of scary. They really were keeping
You
up
think
with
they're ignorant, but they're not,
no,
right?
No, they're not ignorant at all. They're well aware of how you voted on these issues. And a lot of them I couldn't remember, but they would tell you, oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, you all right. Come on in. And they get some water for Andrew, get water for me, and have us to sit down at the table. And then they would pull out a paper and say, now, how do you think I ought to vote on this? You know, who's the best candidate here and there? I mean, they just, when you they find out you're a city councilman, you're on the council, then they want to know who else is good and worthy, you know, to hold that office because it's important.
20 years in office, you've had candidates, you've run against them.
Yeah.
You're a success story on that level.
You just
you didn't like get
incredible.
there because somebody died and you're filling in.
No,
you've actually.
I ran 7 times and won 7 times.
I'll tell you something else about him winning. And when it come to campaign, you remember seeing all these signs all over Cleveland? Avery? You know who put those out?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, you.
Yeah.
There you are. Me and Avery. And I'm going to tell you what, that's the success of it. The more people you have.
Could you ask for a better brother?
Oh, no.
Saying,
No, I couldn't.
No question.
I'm telling you. And that's one thing that I will never, ever take lightly is the fact that I had help. I had a brother that was always
Nobody,
there.
just me and him.
He was always there.
No other siblings?
No, yeah, I got 2 sisters.
They in Cleveland?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
What
in Cleveland
they
too.
do?
Yeah. One of them worked at the American Uniform. The other one knew all the rhymers and worked in their homes and stuff like that. And, yeah, Duracell. Yeah. And but they all know people. We knocked on doors and somebody said, "Well, do you know Sandra Jones? That's my sister." Mm-hmm. I said, "Yeah." I said, "I know her well. That's my sister." She said, "That's your sister?" I said, "Yeah, this is her twin brother."
Yeah, her twin.
And
Twins?
Yeah. And you know, one of the best signs that I had was this little lady's house, because she lived right there backed up to Keith Street. And so she let us put a sign.
Keith or Keith?
Keith Street. Keith. Is it Keith? Yeah, Keith Street.
Yeah.
And she let us put a sign on her back fence, and it faces Keith Street right there by Food City, you know, real popular place, you know. And it's just like that. It's been like that my whole campaign. When I get out and knocking on doors, I always meet somebody I know, you know, and it just keeps going from that to
Do you
that.
feel proud to be a city councilman?
Oh, yeah, because of the good you can do of helping people.
I mean, think about how you can affect change.
Yeah.
One of 6 votes.
Yes, and doing the right thing for the city.
Is it hard sometimes you get into something you say, well, I'm not sure what to do?
Well, yeah, but I had so much experience at Maytag, and I was trained so much by going to seminars and school and everything, and all the training that they give you about different things. And I was even in the Toastmasters Club, which is a public speaking club.
Yeah.
You know, and I was even president of that at one time, you know, and then I've been president of Cleveland Lions Club twice, and I've been president of so many organizations that's in that bio I give you. But I've been around quite a bit, and most times you pretty well know and understand. I can relate to just about everything that they're saying. Some of it is amazing, you know, but I can relate to where the problems are. You know.
Do you think the city council has the work sessions? Is that where you get a lot of the information?
Right. Yeah, it is, and it's helpful. Because in the work session, you can ask questions, you get answers. You got engineering staff there, police staff, fire department, everybody that needs to talk to you, even the city attorney. I mean, you can get the right answer in order to make the right choices, you know, and especially when you see all the good that it's going to do.
That John Kimball, he's city attorney, isn't he?
John Kimball?
Is it John Kimball still?
Yeah.
Well, he does a good job.
Oh yeah. John's really.
He really
Yeah.
lays it out there and explains when it.
Yes, he does.
He doesn't make a call. He just explains the situation.
He just explains the situation and draws up all the contracts, all the legal things that needs to be done. When there's an agreement or a contract between the city and whoever or whatever, John is the guy that we let go across his desk.
Does the city have a big budget?
Yeah.
What is it like?
You know what?
Millions or something?
Yeah, it is. It's, I think the last one I remember, at least 40-something million.
It had to be overwhelming, wouldn't
Yeah.
it?
And then we got the school that incorporate their budget with ours. And then we got the Cleveland Utility. We partner with them, watch over their budget as well. And so it gets to be pretty huge. I mean, but we've done some phenomenal things in the last few years to really get a lot of progress and get our city and our community moving.
Do we have to get, I guess maybe 30 years ago, maybe the city councilman wasn't as big of a deal, but now it's a big industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe it was then too.
Absolutely.
Maybe it was different, but I'm just saying now, we got people moving everywhere. We got all these subdivisions I can't even name.
Yeah.
We got problems with the roads aren't wide enough, the sewer's not. We're all this progress. We still don't have sewer in East Cleveland, and just so many things that would just make my head hurt.
Yeah, but we got a lot of stuff happening, but it's all good.
Yeah.
Do you have city councilmen that you'll vote with them on this and against them on that, but it's okay? You know what I'm saying?
Not all the time is it okay, and we all realize that sometimes we look at each other and wonder why, but we got good people on the city council.
Nobody gets mad that you voted this way or that way.
Well, but see, I've been there long enough to see it both ways, all kind of ways, where there's mad, where they won't even speak to you, in the next meeting.
That's crazy.
I've been there. I sit right beside of a guy, and they wouldn't speak to you. So, I've seen it all. But I don't pay attention to that. I've been through so much in dealing with people at Maytag. At one time, I had 142 people under my supervision.
Golly.
Plus, I had 7 supervisors that looked after that 100. I was the general foreman at that time. And they train you how to handle that job. They thoroughly train you. I've been off to seminars and stayed gone for weeks, in Black Mountain, North Carolina, MTSU. I mean, just, for weeks trying to get it together, learn the process. And when you come back, you're not really afraid of nothing, but you want to make sure you do it right.
So you've taken your experiences from the past along with the training that you've got.
Yeah.
That'll make you successful.
Yeah.
On the courthouse square at 30 2nd Street is the law firm of Logan Thompson Law. Since 1965, they have served the legal needs for the good citizens of Cleveland-Bradley County. If you've got a problem, they're no problem. Give them a call.
Let's tell you about our faith. We are members of Pleasant Grove Baptist Church. I've been there since I was 6 years old. Avery was baptized when he was 8, and I was baptized when I was 6. My mother took us to Pleasant Grove because they had good teachers. And they really had good teachers, when I say that.
Was it a black church
It's
there?
all black church.
Yeah, it started in
And
18 and
my,
83.
My faith, sometimes you got to challenge yourself with your faith. One Sunday, remember when the Berlin Wall was being torn down? They was tearing it down with picks, axe. They didn't have the real equipment to tear that wall down. And so anyway, our church was just about ready to dismiss that Sunday. And I said, hold up a minute. We got something we got to be thankful for. I said, we got so many people that has prayed that that wall would come down. And I said, and I'm one of them. I was in high school when this happened. And I said that we don't need to be dismissed until we pray for those people over there. So we did. We prayed. Well, it went by for about 2 or 3 weeks. This lady walked by me in church, had a gift in a box for me. And she said, I got something for you. I said, told my wife, So don't let him open it up until he gets home. I gets home and I open it up. You know what it was? Piece of that Berlin Wall. I show you
Sure enough.
Sure enough, that shows you what God can do. You don't have to be there. Your faith enough to pray that it'll get done, and it got done. Give me 2 pieces of that wall. I got it at the house. Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing about my faith is this. I don't know if y'all ever know Billy Tinsley or not. This lady, white lady. She's probably in her 90s now. She used to work at Miller's at the Village. And she's came into Cook's food store one day, me and my wife and my oldest sister, Barbara. We was all in there, and I was back at the meat counter, and I come up this aisle. Well, when I walked up the aisle, this lady walked up there. She come down the aisle, and she said, Andrew Johnson. Just like I said, who, you talking about me? She said, yes, you. I said, well, and then she spoke up. She said, it's not a day goes by that I don't think about you. I said, who, me? She said, yes, you. And so I said, wow. I said, well, what makes you think about me like that? She said, I'll tell you why. She said, people used to come in the store down there. They'd be so mean-spirited.
And Miller's.
At Miller's. She said, and I look up, and here you come walking down the aisle, and you have that smile on your face, and it just made my day. Well, I want to tell you something. I wrote a book about ripples on the water. And what happens is that it's what that book is written about. It's not so much as about what I said. It's what somebody else has said about me. And when she said that, that just stirred something up inside of me. Say, Andrew, you need to go ahead and do this before you get older. Well, I did. And then I know you know Glenn Jones.
Yeah.
When he was going through what he was going through, he called me one night. And he said, are you busy? I said, no, I'm not busy. So he knows where I live. He said, well, I'll be by there in about 5 to 6 minutes. I said, okay, come on. Me and him sat down and we talked. We prayed. We cried together. And when all was said and done, he said, well, I got to go to Knoxville in the morning to take this money. If I don't have it, they said they're going to lock me up. That's what I want to tell you something. You put your hand in God's hand, and you'll be all right. So anyway, make a long story short, we shut it down. He hugged me before he left, and I told him, just as he's going out the door, I said, now remember what I'm telling you. Trust God this time. Don't put your faith in man. Man will disappoint you. Put your faith in God. He said, okay, Andrew, I'm going to take you at your word. Sure enough, about 4:30 that morning, he gets a call from the judge from Knoxville. Told him he didn't have to come. Everything has been dropped. But that's what faith will do for you. Put your trust in God, not in man, because man will fail you. Man will trick you.
Do you think it's almost supernatural, the faith in God helping us? I mean, we want to see the clock stop,
Yeah,
you know.
But see, my mother.
But maybe the clock does stop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Something supernatural like what he's talking about.
Yeah.
That's real life.
That
Yeah.
is real life.
And my mother
Yes, it
used to
is.
take, it was 4 of us, and she put us all in a circle. My mom and dad separated, divorced when we was 3 years old, when I was 3 years old. She put us in a circle and she started praying. I'm ready to go outside about 5 o'clock, every day at 5 o'clock. We sit there and she'd hold in this circle and she'd start praying, Lord, bless my children, bless my children's children, and said, don't let any harm or danger come up on them. You know what? Those prayers have been answered. Today they've been answered. I got a daughter who's got a doctorate degree and I got another working on a master's degree. Who did that? Not me. God. He's the only one that can do that. That's why I say my faith is strong. I'm chairman of the deacon board at our church. Avery's chairman of the finance committee.
Where is Pleasant Grove?
Corner of Emmett and East, right there by Mosby Park.
Okay.
And that Mosby Park is my wife's grandfather. It's named after him. Brenda.
Mosby?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mosby. My wife was a Mosby. That's who that park is named after. But that's where we go to church at, Pleasant Grove. Been there ever since I was 6 years old. And my mother took us there, but she was Church of God.
Has it been remodeled several times, or is it pretty well the same?
Yeah.
No,
It sure
it's
has.
been remodeled.
Yeah.
How many members?
We
300.
started about 300.
That's quite a bit.
About three. Yeah, that's how many we got on the road. But usually,
With COVID there, how many today?
oh, well, right now it's off. But today we had the biggest crowd we've
We
had
had a long
in a
time.
long
Like
time.
200?
Oh yeah,
What about last Sunday?
yeah. Well, last Sunday was probably about 100.
That's what ours has been, maybe
Yeah,
150.
yeah.
See, we got about 300
Yeah,
too, but
yeah.
it was packed today. But
It was ours was too because
I almost
Easter.
couldn't sit on the back row.
Yeah, I know. I remember we used to always have sit out chairs on Easter because everybody would come. At least Easter and Christmas.
Y'all got plenty of parking,
Yeah, yeah. We got plenty of parking.
and you've gone there since you were 6 years old.
I've been there since I was 10. Really, I was 10-year-old when we.
I mean,
joined.
if you don't know every inch of that church, nobody does.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We grew up and saw them all tore down, rebuilt, and all
Rebuilt.
this kind of stuff. Yeah, we've been there.
They put
My mother was Church of God, but she took us there when we were real young.
Did she change to Baptist?
No,
Yeah.
she didn't change.
She wouldn't change. She kept on going back to her Church of
Her
God.
church.
So she used to walk, drop us off right because they had good teachers, and they had a lot of kids. In that church.
She wanted to go to Church of God, but she
Yeah,
would take.
but she
What's
wanted.
interesting?
She wanted us to
She
learn.
was a thinker, wasn't she?
Yeah, she
Oh, she
wanted
was
us to
real
be where we were being taught properly.
Yeah.
And they had good teachers, Sunday school teachers and stuff like that. So we would go to the Baptist church. She'd walk on up to the Church of God.
Do you remember? Did you go to Sunday schools and
Oh
church?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
We was raised up.
Sunday
like that.
school church.
Sunday school church.
Sunday church. Wednesday
Yeah.
night.
Baptist Training
Yeah.
Union. All
Sunday
that.
night.
Yeah.
What time was Sunday night generally?
Sunday night was usually from 7 o'clock to about 8:30.
When did y'all stop that during COVID?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if Sunday night church is going to come back.
Well, I don't know.
And if it was, we couldn't be here.
Yeah,
So I don't know
I doubt it.
if I'm all that much against it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about Wednesday night? You still go Wednesday night?
No.
No, we
Not
had
now.
no-
Since COVID.
Yeah. Since COVID.
You know, this COVID may do in these
Yeah,
churches.
yeah.
Well, it's done a lot of the mega churches. It's got
Yeah.
some.
Yeah.
But we've been blessed.
Mm-hmm.
We closed down. What was it? It was about.
Huh?
We was closed down for quite a bit. Wasn't it? The first year, wasn't it?
3 years.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
the first year I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Actually, no
Yeah.
members. come
Yeah,
out-
the first
come
year we were completely
in.
closed
And you know
down
what?
from services.
We survived. You know how we survived?
Yeah.
Drive through. People drive up just to pay their tithes and their
Yeah.
offering.
Yeah, we
$5, $10, $6,
No,
$20.
we actually took in more money while we were out of
While
church
we
than
were
we
out.
did when we were going to church.
Now figure that
At
one out.
our church.
Figure
That's
that
what I
one
say.
out.
Your
we
faith.
actually took
How you
in.
figure that out?
That's
Yeah,
God.
You're saying that's God.
That is. That's who it is.
It'd have to be.
That's
'Cause
what-
they're
yeah,
not
I'm
even
Still-
coming.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
still doing that, taking in more
And they'll
money
drive up there today and still drop
by
their money.
drive-through than we are by the people before the COVID. Yeah.
Who started that church? Who started a Baptist church?
It started in 1883.
Yeah.
18 and is 1883?
1883 or 60.
1883 is when College Hill started. The
Yeah.
Baptist Church was started in 18 something else. 18.
It's right close to that time, but it
Well,
was
it might have been 1886.
What was the thinking then?
of the church?
Yeah, start a black Baptist church. I mean,
Well, it started
that
out
was,
in a little brush arbor. It's just a little old shed, just a little brush arbor with brush on top of it. And then they just kept on going. They
Pick
started out
potbelly
with a
stuff.
dozen people and families walking, and it's the same location where we're at right now.
it's amazing, isn't
And
it?
it just kept going over the years and years and years.
Self-sustained.
Oh yeah, it's been torn down and built about 5 times now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, different ministries.
Is there any white people go there? Is it
Oh,
pretty much?
plenty,
Yeah.
plenty.
So
of
it's not even.
no. Yeah, I wish you could have seen the program today, the Easter program. You know, and I looked up there, but there's still probably about 8 little white kids in with the other kids.
yeah,
And I mean, it's that way
And the
with
choir,
members,
saying the
membership, everything we do.
yeah.
You ever
Yeah.
pray, Andrew?
Oh yeah, yeah. I pray
Y'all
all
have
the
the
time.
Lord's Supper. I mean, you pray in public.
Oh yeah.
You have the Lord's Supper.
Oh yeah.
Y'all pass it out
Yeah, yeah.
even after COVID, or
During COVID, on the first Sunday of every month, I'm at the door.
Yeah.
When they drive up,
Yeah,
They get
we've
their
done it in the
communion.
parking lot.
they do their
but
communion.
before COVID, how'd you do it?
Yeah.
we did it inside the
Inside
sanctuary.
church.
Pass it out
Yeah.
Yeah.
down the aisle.
Yeah.
Do y'all have the plastic cups now? Those?
We
Yeah,
have just
the
got
one.
them both in one now.
Yeah. You pull the
Yeah,
lid
you
off.
pull one off.
Well, whoever came up with that's made a fortune. haven't
Oh yeah, they did.
I don't think
They'll never go back to passing that
I,
out.
They probably
I
won't.
don't think so.
They'll never
Yeah,
go back.
they
I don't even
probably-
want them to.
I don't
I know,
need
they
it. I don't
probably
need it.
Because if I'm late, I can just grab it.
Yeah, and if
Yeah.
you're coming in the door,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you're coming in the door, just pass it out as they come in
Yeah.
the door.
You know, it's kind of strange. I was at church this morning. I thought, boy, I'd like to have some of that cracker that's on top.
Oh,
It
yeah.
tastes kind of like styrofoam,
Oh,
but it's
yeah.
tasty, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a wafer, wafer craft.
Yeah.
Is what it is, and it's just like a wafer. Put it in your mouth, it dissolves itself pretty much.
Andrew, this was really something. You writing a book like this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ripples on the Water.
Mm-hmm.
The Life of Andrew Morgan.
Andrew Johnson.
Andrew Johnson. Where did I get Morgan?
I know where you got
That's
it.
all
As a
right.
politician.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's,
Yeah, that's right. You
See,
got
I'm on-
Shout out to
there.
Andrew.
See, I'm on top of my
Yeah.
game. Huh?
well, you are. Boy, this is elections. Let me show you this one picture right here.
Mm-hmm.
Right here's College Hill, Gwen.
Yeah,
That's the school.
yeah,
And Temple and Hill School's blueprint was the same as College Hill.
yeah.
That's a nice school. I mean,
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
it
2
was a high
stories,
school.
right?
Oh yeah.
It was a high school.
And
Yeah.
they had kids
At
from
one
the
time,
first
it was the
grade.
only high school in the city of Cleveland,
Yeah.
inside the city limits.
That's right.
At one time,
Inside the city.
even though Bradley was where it's at, where the elementary is right now,
On Coy Street.
but
Get
Cleveland
that one, Glenn.
College Hill was the only high school that was
There's
located
that cat right there.
inside the city because they had all 12 grades going. Right
Remember what?
When I was
Yeah.
rolling.
Remember what Spanky told Alfalfa? He said, "How much you charge to own a house?"
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh yeah. See, that's where I did that
yeah.
hard work right there.
Yeah.
That's me. Right there.
Oh, was this at this is at
at
the
the
plant,
foundry.
Glenn?
Yeah, with the molders.
Which one are you, Avery?
I don't know.
That's
That's
me.
Andrew.
Right
That's
here.
him right there. I've got one
I
of
look
me
taller,
too.
don't
You look taller there. Why is that? I was
younger.
thinking the same
I was
thing.
younger.
Yeah.
People shrink when they get older, don't
Oh
they?
yeah.
I do these exercises of a morning that's supposed to stretch out your back and not cause that.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Okay.
short enough as it is.
Yeah.
Do you think that that your mother was Church of God and you were Baptist?
hmm
You think we're all going to heaven, whether I'm Church of
Oh,
Christ,
yeah.
you're First Baptist,
No,
yeah.
they're
no,
Baptist, they're.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where
I
your
think it's
heart's
going to
at.
be some of everybody in heaven. Yeah.
You think there'll be Mormons there, or is that
I don't know about that now.
because
So
I mean
got-
they believe in
they got
God
extreme
too.
belief, and they're trying to follow what they know, but I don't think they know like we know. We've been trained, in reading the scripture and the word. They interpret the things a lot different, and a lot of people do.
But they're
they
they're
still-
believing in
I
God
still
too.
believe that there's still salvation in whatever they're
blessed.
doing.
Have I been blessed?
Yeah,
You have been blessed.
yeah.
You even get to play golf.
Yeah.
Let me show you another little guy right here. See that little guy standing in the front of that picture?
Yeah.
See him?
Which one?
That
Right
little
here.
guy, that little guy.
Yeah.
Oh, the young one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here,
He
Gwen,
went to
get
school
this.
here in Cleveland. He's from Cleveland, Tennessee. And he graduated. He didn't graduate from College Hill, but he went to College Hill for a long time. Then moved to Minnesota or Kansas.
Where was the picture
These
taken at?
people, huh?
Where
This is our church.
Okay.
This is our church
Yeah.
right here. That guy right there played the piano for our church. That's the reason why he's in that little choir. That's part of the choir. And the preacher's in that picture also. But that fellow right there has went on and became such a great musician from our church. He's played for kings and queens all over the country, all over the world. He's played at Carnegie Hall 3 times, did concerts at Carnegie Hall.
And from Cleveland, Tennessee.
He's from Cleveland, Tennessee. He came here about 3 years ago when we had the last banquet, honors banquet, at the Museum Center.
Wallace Cheatham.
And he played, Wallace Cheatham is his name. And he
Wallace
played
Cheatham.
Wallace Cheatham.
Wallace Cheatham.
Yeah, his mother played in the movie Wild River.
Oh, okay.
She
Yeah.
was the maid, and that was there for those people.
Is that she next to him?
Huh?
Is that her next to him?
No. Let's see if his mother's even in the picture. I don't even see her in the picture. No, she's not in the picture. Yeah. But he was
That's an
good.
old one, ain't it?
He was great, but he's been all over the world and played at Carnegie Hall And he just recently played at Carnegie Hall.
Does he ever come back to Cleveland, or is he
He
moved?
was here about 3 years ago. We honored
Only
him.
to visit.
We honored him. We had the College Hill Alumni Association.
Oh,
And
so he got his music.
he got his music start right there at our church. Started playing piano at our church, and went to school at College Hill.
That's
He's
one
from
of the,
Cleveland,
that's one of the
Tennessee.
biggest success stories
That's
we've had
a
out of
big
Cleveland.
success story. He passed away though. He died last year. Yeah, but you're talking about intelligent.
Would he play the
talented,
piano?
Played the piano. So talented, you know. And I mean, he's a real good kid.
And this is Bill Gibson. Did you mention him earlier?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember Bill.
Bill Gibson's, like I tell you, I always talk about my faith. Bill Gibson's daddy,
Get this one, Glenn.
his father,
A lot of people remember him.
he
Yeah.
used to be sheriff.
Bill Gibson.
Yeah,
His dad's name was Kermit Gibson, and he had a red truck. It was brand new.
1972. I was
Yeah.
1 year old.
Is that right?
is that right?
Anyway, Bill's daddy had a truck. His father had a truck.
Yeah.
It was a
I
Ford
know.
Courier, and he
Time goes by.
wanted me to have it. And he came up to me when we was molding.
Yeah.
He said, Andrew, I'm tired of all that noise coming in the parking lot out there every morning. I drove a big old Dodge. That thing was about to fall out. And said, I got a truck. Said, 'cause my wife's had a stroke, and I just bought it. Said, it's got 1,400 miles on it, and I'll let you have it. Said, but you need to come and look at it. So I said, okay, I'll come and look at it. So I went out of his house. I looked at it. It's setting up on blocks. He had 4 brand new snow tires. I mean, it was just looked like somebody had waxed it. And so I looked at him. I said, well, what do you want for it? He said, you just give me $1,400. I said, I'll take it. I said, $1,400? He said, yeah. He said, now, do you want it? I said, oh, yes, I want it. So as soon as I got to work, I went to Savings Association. I got the money and gave it to him. He let me have that truck for $1,400, brand new.
But he was just doing him a
He was
favor.
doing me a
You think
favor.
so?
Oh, yeah.
The truck was like brand
Yeah.
new. You'd see the old man, all he did was drive it to work. And
That's
back.
why I say our relationship.
Why would he do that?
Well, our relationship was good.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said,
He was a good guy. Would he become sheriff?
Bill's dad.
Yeah, this
This
is
is his
his
dad.
dad.
Oh,
His
yeah,
dad
but
the
Bill
one
was
that
just as good.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was
him
just
and
as
his
good.
wife Martha.
Martha, yeah, they was real nice too. But when he did that, Bill was the only child that they had.
Uh-huh.
Well, Bill see me driving that truck, he waved at me. Oh, slow down. I said, okay. I said, what do you want? He said, when you gonna give me my truck back? I said, your dad said it was mine.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm talking about. When you're growing up, you got to bond with people. You don't just haphazardly take friendship for granted. If you bond with them, you'll find out life is so much easier.
Yeah,
You'll be so
good
much
people.
happier. You know, just try to
good
be
people.
nice and kind to people. I go to the grocery store every week.
which one?
Over here, it's Food City. And any store that I'm at, even if I go to Publix, as soon as the person gets through ringing up the groceries, I give her $1. And I give the one that's bagging the groceries, I give them $1. Oh, no, you don't have to do it. I said, it's easy to be kind. I said, you're going to spoil my fun today. That makes me feel much better. If you don't, just pass it on to somebody else, and then you tell me how you feel.
You think it's good karma?
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to know if that's the right word,
Yeah.
but it's. I think it is, don't you?
is.
It's just
It
good
is.
karma.
It is.
Yeah, it's
It
easy
really
to be
is.
kind to people.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this story. I was building this. I was building that motel next to Cracker Barrel, Douglas Inns and Suites. As me and John Paul Douglas were
I know
partners.
him.
Did you ever know John Paul?
I knew.
Yeah.
Well, he was
Yeah.
one of my
Yeah.
Yeah.
very best
Oh,
friends.
yeah.
I know.
And so we were building that together. Well, I just about got finished, and the state came in and said, you don't have a sprinkler. That's when they just first started sprinklers in smaller
yeah.
buildings.
Oh, yeah.
Said, you don't have a sprinkler system, and we're going to shut you down. They literally did everything but put a lock on the door. So I had to hurry up and get a drawing for a sprinkler fire suppression system.
Yeah.
I had to drive it to Nashville to get it approved.
Oh, Lord.
Because that was when interest was like 9.5%. You didn't waste any time.
Yeah.
It wasn't like 4% now. I mean, every day was a big deal, especially
Yeah.
on $2 million. So we get there, and we park in the back, and we're walking up through the back, and I said, John, what are we going to tell him? And he didn't say nothing. I said, John, we got to tell him something. Let's get our story straight here. Well, we walked past the smoking section.
Okay.
And there was a group out there, and they were smoking, you know. And John said, "Hey, how y'all doing? Fine, nice day." Huh? I said, "John, come on, let's get. What is our plan?" Well, as we're walking, he's still talking to these people. There's 4 or 5 of them. We get through the door, and I'm really getting irritated because this could go very bad.
Yeah.
You know, you get on the wrong side of these
Right.
people. Who knows? We go up the elevator, and finally it got down to there was just me and John and this one guy. And John's still talking to him. I said,
Okay.
John, we got to get focused on what we're going to. So we walk in, and I said, "Ma'am," I said, "we're here to see Mr. So-and-so." And she said, "Well, you just got off the elevator with him." And it was that guy. We were in there and had approval in 8 minutes. So it was because John Paul was just being friendly. He didn't know that was the guy. He was just being friendly.
It pays.
Yeah,
That's a true story.
I know.
pays.
I tell you, I've had them kind
It
of
don't work
experiences.
all the time.
I know, but I've had them kind of experiences, you know.
It pays.
I'll tell you one, even at Maytag, this happened at Magic Chef. And I was working, they called me on special assignment to come and work in HR. You know, and here I am out on the assembly line as a supervisor and all this kind of stuff. They said, "We need you to come to HR. You know, there's a lot of things going on," and they wanted to fix a lot of internal problems. And I said, "Okay." So that took me out to HR, and I stayed out there 2.5 years in HR department, working at Maytag.
Human resources.
Yeah, human resources. And I was working and going through files and evaluating. I was a writer, a reporter, and they liked the way I wrote things. They liked the way I talked about a lot of stuff. And so I finally went back into supervision in the plant, but I went back as a general foreman over a whole department. That's when I had 142 people. You know, and I did that for a while. And then they came to me again and said, "Hey, we need you to come back to HR. We're going to start up team process coordinators and all this kind of stuff. And we need you to teach people about team concepts. And we're going to send you to MTSU." And I had to go there and stay for a week or two, and, you know, me and a couple more guys. And then I said, okay. And then before I left HR, that was going back to take over the shipping department, because we done had a strike, done had a union organized and all of that. And so they looked at me and they told me, they said, "Avery, in one of my evaluations when I was in the shipping department, I started out so good. They said, if you could just have any job in the plant, which would it be?" I said, "I didn't even know what, I don't even want to answer that because I thought they were just fooling around." He said, "No, we're serious about that. If you could just have any job in the plant, which one would you like to have?" I said, "Well, I've never served in personnel." I said, "I'd like to be personnel manager. Maybe I can sit in there and interview people." In 2 weeks, they called me and put me in personnel and let me work in personnel department for months. And I was interviewing people, and I was writing down, hire this one, don't hire that one.
The guy that had to get the interview on a Sunday.
Yeah, that's me. Started out.
That's right.
You know, I had to go walk down to get him to go to the bat for me to get hired, you know. But I mean, that's just the kind of way my life has been. It went that way all with Maytag, and it's even been more dynamic since I've been on city council and getting reelected every time. 7 times I had opponents, you know. But we pulled it off, and I've got elected all those times. But I worked in the personnel department, interviewing people. I put on hire this one, don't hire this one, hire this one, don't hire this one. They were serious about it. They said, "No, Avery, you've been a good employee. You've done fantastic." You know, the write-ups.
You're very articulate with your speaking. Was that from?
That's from Toastmasters. That's from Toastmasters.
Did you ever know Troy Dixon in Toastmasters?
Who?
You remember Troy Dixon?
I don't remember
He was in
him.
Toastmasters.
Probably after me.
You had to give speeches like once a week or something like that?
Yeah, we had to get, yeah, right. Yeah, I had the inter speech contest, regional speech contest, you know, and then statewide speech contest. They had them all. If you won in the district, you go to the region and stuff like that. And I won in the district and went
Is
to the
there
region.
tricks to that? I mean, the way you a method to
they
it?
They teach you how to get rid of the R's. You know, some people talk, but they got an R this and R that.
How about this new generation that says "so"? They'll start the sentence out with "so."
Yeah, Yeah.
Why do they do that?
I
They
don't
say,
know,
you know,
because they
you know,
need to.
no,
They
you
need
know.
to go through Toastmasters. They'll teach you how to get rid
Why
of
do
it.
they do that?
They'll teach you how to get rid of it. I tell
That's
you that.
Angie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to school with Angie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How is she doing?
She's doing good. She's getting her master's.
Show this, Gwen.
She's getting her master's in
Where's she
Is
live
that
right
right?
now?
Texas, Mansfield.
Mansfield,
That's
Texas.
Angie.
Tell her I
Yeah,
said,
she's
hey,
getting her- she's
hey,
getting her-
Angie.
Yeah.
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 she's getting
Angie's a
it.
good kid too.
Yeah.
They're good kids. Her and Sherry both.
Yeah.
Where did they get their height?
From their mama. Their mama was even. Where's Brenda? She taller than you,
no,
really.
no, she's not.
She ain't?
No, she ain't. We're all right there.
Yeah, she looks tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both good girls.
You're proud of your family, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, Lord, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why, because I worked hard.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's what I work for.
That's
Is for
his
them.
lifeblood.
Yeah.
I'd say that if you were in the foxhole,
Mm-hmm.
Andrew would be the one you'd want with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Lord, yeah.
No doubt
yeah,
about it.
I got a feeling he's a secret
Yeah.
to your success.
Oh yeah. Yeah, most definitely. I'd say
with
that.
with no
yeah.
wanting nothing.
No.
No.
No. But I've had a lot of help. I've had some help that you just wouldn't believe. I
People that
mean,
supported
you know, people here in town, even the superintendent of the plant that I worked at, Maytag, for years and years, he's on my team. You know,
That's a big deal.
yeah. I mean, you know, and there's other people, I'm not going to call no names, but there's other people in town that are lawyers and judges, they on my team. They met with me from week to week, you know. They helped raise money for me and everything, you know. And I mean, I have really had some good people and good contact.
What do
and
you
good
do
support.
during a normal day now that you're retired?
Well, I'm retired, but I got a lot of stuff. I do a lot of stuff.
What time you
See,
get up?
Huh?
What time you get up in the morning?
Usually I get up about 6 o'clock, 7:30. Most times it's 6 o'clock. You know, my wife, she gets up early
You eat
too.
breakfast at home?
Yeah.
What do you eat
Most
normally?
time. See, my dad was a chef. And I used to start out, when I started working, I worked at Cedar Lane Restaurant. You ain't ever heard of Cedar Lane? It's right across the street from the Sugar Shack, Shake Shack, down where Bradley High School's at now. There's a big restaurant over across the street, used to be Cedar Lane. But anyway, I worked there, and I started out washing dishes and stuff for about 2 weeks. And then after that, they said, you need to do the other. So then I started out being a chef,
Short order cook?
short order cook.
2 eggs,
I
Two
did that-
eggs.
Huh?
like 2 eggs, toast, and
Oh
grits?
yeah, everything. Yeah, Andrew cooked breakfast. I cooked all the other stuff. I
We
cooked
both. We were.
I
Hey,
cooked- yeah, I
wherever he
cooked the-
went, wherever he
I
went.
cooked the lobster
better
tails
not
and
stomp his
steaks
toes.
and all that. I did all the other
I was
stuff. I
short
mean, I
order cook.
learned from the best of them
Yeah,
because there
I
were some people in this town that could really cook, but I learned how to do everything.
Hello, I'm Dee Burris. I want to inform you of a special election coverage we're going to have on The Discussion on May the 3rd at 6:30. I will have members of the Liars Table joining me as we watch the election unfold. Please join us Tuesday, May the 3rd on Facebook or YouTube Live. In The Discussion, it's no problem. You ever see that guy on TV that they had the fastest short order cook? He can cook a full breakfast in like 36 seconds. He'd crack an egg,
Yeah.
and like those Waffle
Oh,
House
yeah.
cooks.
Yeah.
Boy, you won't find a smarter person than a Waffle House cook.
Yeah,
They know how to do it.
And they think, remember, and keep stuff in their head.
We had a guy here in Cleveland that was the same way.
Yeah,
His
Jimmy.
name was Jimmy Ware.
Jimmy Wire.
And Jimmy Ware was one of the fastest cooks I ever worked with. And I was the only one that worked with him that could really keep up with him and do things in a timely fashion like he needed it
Yeah.
in order to get stuff. I mean, we bust loads of people pulling in. This was at the Holiday
Yeah,
Hill
on the,
restaurant,
yeah.
the Holiday Hill on South Cleveland. We worked there together. And I mean, we could feed people like you wouldn't believe. You know, bus loads and all that
Tabernacle
stuff.
came to Cleveland.
Yeah.
It was that way.
You fix breakfast like that in the morning?
breakfast all the time.
Not
Yeah.
just oatmeal?
No, everything. I fix everything.
I'm a cereal man.
Yeah.
Cereal, what kind?
Everything.
Cereal.
Everything. Egg
Blueberries.
omelets, all that
You
kind of
put
stuff.
extra sugar on it?
No, I don't put any sugar.
No sugar on your Cheerios?
Yeah, that's what my philosophy is.
You cannot teach what you do not know or lead where you do not go. Children are what they see. Well, that's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
You ever heard that song, country music guy that says, ask his son, why did you do this? I watched you do it, and I watched you. Boy, we don't realize that, do we?
I tell you.
No,
By the time we
don't.
realize it, it's too late.
Yeah, I know it. I got one here too. It says everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't even have to make your subject and your verbs agree to serve. You don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics in physics to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love if you want to really serve. It's not
That's
that
beautiful.
hard. It's not that hard. Dr. Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King. Yeah. And it is. I serve because I'm committed to the community. I remember how bad things used to be. I come through when things were really, really bad, and from a poor family. I got my first job at 12-year-old working for Watson Store, Mr. J.B. Watson. And Johnny was my friend. Johnny went to Bradley. I went to College Hill, but we used to meet in the backyard every day after school and throw ball across the fence.
Everybody loved Johnny Watson.
Yeah, Johnny Watson was a great guy. Mm-hmm. He was my friend, and then every now and then Jackie, his brother, would come outside and show us how to grip it and rip it. Because Jackie was a football player, All-American at Mississippi. I don't know which one he went to. But I mean, it's just a special guy and special family. But we used to stand out the fence and talk, me and Johnny, every day. Because when he get out of school, I would be out there walking around. But when he get out of school and get in the house and come through, he would come out into the backyard and throw football to me across the fence.
Could you play on the baseball teams and stuff like that?
No, I didn't. I worked. I had to have a job, because I was coming up in a single-parent home. My mom and dad separated when I was 8.
When you were at Magic Chef, did they have, or Cleveland Foundry or whatever, did they have like softball teams? Could you play on those?
They had him. He's got the best story.
Could you play on those teams?
Well, we first started out, they wouldn't let us play them.
Well, what'd they say? You can't play?
Yeah, I had a meeting. And you know who it was with? I called my friend. I was with Skeet. I got the pictures. And he said that I just don't think society is ready for it right now. And I said, well, okay, I can accept that coming from him.
You're just wanting to play softball.
I'm going to play softball, basketball is really what I wanted.
Yeah, he just said time not right.
And
so you could not play?
No.
Couldn't play.
What happened was...
But listen to what happened, though.
What happened was, he said, Andrew, I'll get back with you, and I'll call you and tell you when to come to the office. I said, okay. So I left his office, and sure enough, he called. And everybody else like, well, what's Skeet done called for Andrew again? So I went over there, and he said, I told you that I just felt like people wasn't ready for it yet. And I said, yeah. I said, but you know what, Mr. Reimer? I said, all work and no play makes Jack a very dull boy, just like that. He said, well, I got your answer, Andrew. I said, what's that? He said, over here at Arnold School. He said, I got with the principal, and there's a lady, said, I got a key, and I want you to take care of this. This is the key. He said, oh, yeah, by the way, he reached under his desk, handed me a box. The box had 10 uniforms from Magic Chef. He said, now you can form your own league, and y'all can do your own thing. I said, well, I sure do appreciate that. At least it gives us something to do. But society wasn't ready. And I accepted that. We did, all of it, but we still had fun.
But I don't understand how, I guess it was just in their mind that they're supposed to be separated.
It was that way.
It was so much violence.
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying that
he said the time wasn't right.
So he was thinking this is not a safe thing to do.
It's not a safe
not
thing.
that it wasn't right.
Right.
Yeah.
Not that he was against it at all, but it's just not quite safe enough right now.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want anybody blowing the building up or something.
Yeah.
I guess.
Right.
And that's what he meant. And then, it was times when we'd talk to him and he would say, well, you know, fellas, he said the time ain't right. You know, and I'm thinking about all that he said. And I spoke to the Rotary Club one time, and they wanted me to speak because I can't remember. It was something about diversity that was going on and all this stuff. But when I spoke to them, I told them the stories about Skeet Ryman, about Andrew and how he didn't, but he giving all them uniform, told them to just organize his own team. And here's this place you can go and play ball and all that. But Skeet was the kind of person that he didn't want nobody to get hurt. He didn't want he wanted everything to be safe. And he had a feel for the whole atmosphere out there of what's going on in the community, what's going on in the world. And he just kept saying, well, you know, the time ain't right.
He's fantastic.
But after they bombed that church in Alabama and those 4 little girls got killed, Skeet didn't think about time ain't right. He said, yeah, time's right. And he took it on his own. He didn't even call us and ask us nothing. He just shut the plant down, told everybody to come to the streets. And then he announced, he said, I just want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, employees, and I appreciate every one of you for being here. He said, but it won't be no more separate water fountains. Won't be no more separate restrooms. Won't be no more separate shower stalls, locker rooms, and all that. So we're going to come together. And we're going to be one big happy family here. And anybody that don't like that, you can go ahead and hit the streets right now if you want to. Because there's plenty of people out there that are needing jobs and will work. You know, but I mean, he was just that kind of person.
He must have been a really good guy.
He
He's a good person.
He's
and I got a chance to pay him back. He retired. He got old, and we had a magic chef had turned into Maytag, and we had a big field day at the plant where all the old timers come back. And I was out there, and I was working in HR at that time, and I was there, and then I was monitoring the parking lot, and I hear he come with this old car driving in. Him and Roy Musselwhite was together, Andrew. He come driving into the parking lot, and he was looking for a place to park, and I walked up to his car, and he said, yeah. He said, hey, Avery. I said, how you doing, Mr. Ryman? I said, good to see you. He'd done been retired and been gone for years. I said, I got a place for you right over here, right down front right here. He said, oh, man, that's where I used to park. I said, yeah, I know. That's the reason why I got it for you. He said, thank you, Avery. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
He circled back around, pulled in, parked down on that where he used to park at all the time going into office. And he got out there, and then he walked over across the plant into the warehouse where we used to have those meetings. Mm-hmm. And he was announcing, that's what he used to get us together and tell, we're going to give you a 10-cent raise. Yeah. 15-cent raise or what, a 5-cent raise and all of that. But he walked over, and a lot of people were greeting him and everything. But he was a people person.
He was.
And he said, my door's always open.
He was a smart person,
Smart person.
New timing.
Yeah, I'll tell you a political thing that happened to me. I built my house in 1968. Well, they didn't have city water out there where I'm at. But the college had it. Because it's...
You live out on
Atkinson.
Yeah.
And so anyway, like Avery said, Skeet was walking through the parking lot one morning, and I know about what time he's coming in. As soon as he got out, I got out of my truck. I said, because I wanted to talk to him. I called him. I said, Mr. Rymer, I said, I need something. Need you to help me with something. He said, what's that? I said, I pay city and county taxes, and I cannot get city water out here where I live. He said, well, where is it at? And I told him. So I looked up one day. Somebody come down the driveway, and they didn't know I was in the house. They was building my house. And I looked up, and he was Hall, Rymer, and Skeet. And they just made a turn. So anyway, he called me back, told me to come see him. I went to see him. He said, well, I think I've got your problem solved. I said, you have? He said, yeah, I got a friend that's in politics. I said, he can be the one that can help you. And so it went on for about, I guess, 5 or 6 years before I ever know how I got that water. Because I didn't know the connection he made. And when I found out, you know what it was?
What?
Harry Deathrow, and that was his brother-in-law.
Oh.
And that's what I found out. I said, boy, it's good to know people, you know. And it didn't take him.
You never know.
Never know.
Never know.
If I had
But
just
the
said,
idea of him remembering that you brought that up says something.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
I mean, he had it on his mind.
Yeah,
Yeah, he would listen. And then one
That's
day,
different than doing something right there.
And one day he
That
walked
road-
through the plant.
He's the one that asked me to serve on the school board. I
Yeah.
served on the school board 3 years. City
Larry
school board.
Freshwood thought the sun rose and set with Harry Death Row.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
he
he's
was a
right.
good man.
He's
He's a
right.
good man.
He's right.
He's a good man.
Can't put it on broadcast, but
Yeah.
anyway, he's right. He's one of the best ones. we ever
Avery's
had.
talking about the nickel
Really
and
is.
dimes.
I
You know
knew
how
him
people
well.
get a raise?
Yeah.
They were so happy, and one day I was over a mountain, assembly line.
I gotta be careful.
Oh, yeah.
Skeet come down through there, and he said, "Hey, Andrew, how you doing?" I said, "I'm doing fine. How you doing, Mr. Ramey?" He said, "Well, I'm doing okay." I said, he said, "You got anything you want to say to me?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm glad you come through the plant today." And he said, "Well," I said, "Well, you gonna give us a 5-cent raise?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, that's pretty good." I said, "Well, I think people would really, really be happy if you give us a dime."
And
It's like
Andrew,
that.
boy, he's the tail that wags the
Yeah,
dog.
and,
isn't he?
Oh,
he, you know what? He
yeah.
looked at me and he said, "Okay, I'll see what we can do here." Sure enough, he got back to the office. It wasn't 30 minutes after he left. He called back out in the plant, told all the supervisors, superintendents, tell them they're gonna get 10 cents instead of 5. Happiest people you ever seen. And now you can't get them to come to work for $15 an hour.
No, 18.
That's sad, ain't it? It's sad. It's sad.
Well, you know how much I started out. I started out working there in
Yeah.
1961 at Maytag. And I started out making 95 cents an hour.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I was making.
Did they have a cafeteria then, or did you have to take your lunch?
Oh, yeah, we took our lunch.
Took your lunch, and then
Yeah,
they had them
we
little.
didn't have one then, but we did get one right after that.
Yeah, we used to have them
Wasn't
little.
shortly after.
What's them little portable things you used to pull
Yeah.
out outside?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was all kinds of those.
Yeah,
the
they
gut
pull-
trucks.
yeah.
They call 'em, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, now
they
they
were-
Well,
did
how
three or
they
four
get
of
so
them.
much food on that thing, I'll never
I
know.
know. There's
And
3 or
it's
4
good.
of
Some
them
of
out
it's
there
good
every
food.
break.
I mean, they got
Every
things
lunch.
in every.
Yeah.
The whole lady.
Boy, the food's not that good, is it?
No.
Yeah.
No, but it was the only thing we had back then. But
Yeah.
What do you think about the city council now? There's a. Is the city about too big right now? I mean, how do you handle all this
no, the
stuff?
city's growing, and I mean we can't stop it. It's really growing. People that come here, even specialized people that are hired to be over industry, well, when they get ready to leave or when they get ready to retire, they stay here in Cleveland. Plus,
They've been
you got-
coming since your grandmother.
Yeah. It's just they just migrate to Cleveland because it's a good community. It's one of the best. I mean, I remember at least 4 CEOs of Maytag, Magic Chef, came to Cleveland, but they stayed here. You know, and one of my favorite, of course, is the one. What's his name? Everybody knows him. And I'm thinking, he gave me a book. He gave me 2 books when I told him I was going to be on city council. He was the plant manager at Maytag.
I know who you're talking about, and I
Yeah.
can't think of his name.
Yeah, you know.
Hey, before I forget, while we're on the subject, I've thought of this 3 times and I keep forgetting. You ever watch Amos and Andy?
Oh Lord, yeah.
That is the funniest show
Yeah.
you will ever watch.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, that is hilarious.
I know, but everybody didn't look at it that way.
That is so, to me, that is
Yeah.
just so, it's a
Yeah.
tragedy.
I know.
Show you how good Cleveland used to be.
Mhm.
We have our.
Who
Yeah.
is that?
That's the CEO of Maytag.
Lloyd Ward
Yeah.
of Maytag.
Oh yeah, at one time.
At
Yeah.
one time.
Yeah, one
And he's
time.
black.
He's black.
Mm-hmm.
See, a lot of people don't even know.
Who's that guy next to him?
It's me.
Oh, was that you? That's before you lost the 60
Yeah.
pounds.
Yeah.
On
Yeah, Don Lawton was the one I was trying to think
Yeah.
of.
Don, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good man.
Yeah.
Good man.
Back to Amos and Andy. I ordered those. I got them off of. I ordered them off of Amazon. You know, you get
Oh,
the
yeah.
series.
Oh.
Boy, that is so.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it is. You know, Seinfeld's funny. Big Bang Theory is
Yes.
funny.
Yes.
But
yes.
Amos and Andy
They had
was
to, didn't they?
hilarious.
Yeah, I know it. They had to touch. They had to touch.
Yeah.
Do you remember watching the
Oh,
different
yeah.
episodes? And
Oh,
it just
yeah.
stopped abruptly. They didn't have any
Yes.
grand finale or
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, but I remember it well.
Do you remember it as a radio show? Or just as a TV show?
Well, a TV show, but I mean, I remember a lot of radio shows. That's all we had, for a long time. Didn't even have a TV.
Because Amos and Andy was a radio
Yeah.
show before it was our radio.
First TV we had was at my grandmother's house. And then we had to go caddy. I made money and we had to help her pay for it,
To caddy?
No,
Caddy.
she did. I caddied. I was a caddy at the country club. My
Oh.
dad was a chef at the country
Oh.
club. But a lot of us kids from over here will go there to the country club to caddy. Now, back in the 60s, it was segregated. The country club, I've done played at this one here about 7 times. But years ago, it used to be segregated. But even back then, in the 60s, I was playing golf at the country club because every Monday they would shut it down. They probably still do that, shut it down
Clean the pool.
on Mondays. But they wanted they allowed us to come, the caddies, because they wanted us to learn the course so we could tell people how far the yardage and all of that.
So you had to learn that.
Yeah. So even though we weren't allowed to play no other, but I played it about every week.
Was that over behind Bradley High School?
That's
when it was
behind
over there?
Bradley High School is where
Or
it was
well, there
at.
was no Bradley High
That's
School,
right.
right?
That's right. That's where the country club was at, right there where
Across
Bradley High
from
School
your
is at.
dad's restaurant.
Yeah. We used to play there all the time. They let us play on Mondays. When they closed down to clean it up,
Clean the pool out.
building
and
sand
all that.
traps and doing whatever they're doing, we used to go there and play,
Do you think Cleveland's going to get just bigger and bigger? Are we not going to know it in 5 years?
Well, we got a limit because we only got so much land that's inside the city and, of course, the county. But I think it's going to continue to get bigger and bigger. It's just like some of the big cities are right now. Every thoroughfare seems like everything builds along the side of it now. Just like that's where it is in Atlanta. My kids live in Atlanta. And I remember when I first started going down there years and years ago, it wasn't near as big. But every turn, every street you get on has got a thoroughfare that's just huge and all kind of development going on. And I think we're going to do the same thing. But we're getting to a landlocked.
We're getting to it's getting to be a
there.
problem.
Yeah,
On
a lot of
Fridays,
traffic.
around 3:00, you can just. I remember I used to go from the Village Mall all the way to Farmland Corners, what we
Yeah.
call Farmland Corners,
Mhm.
and I could time it where you didn't have to stop.
Yeah.
And now, I guess it's 25 minutes,
Yeah.
20 minutes on a Friday.
Yeah.
So where is the success?
Mm-hmm.
Are we ruining Cleveland by so much progress?
No, I mean,
Is it going to get so big that so many people come here that we have to move out? Did we win?
No. What we're doing is we're building roads. So, this new Highway 306 that comes in that they want to get going east and west. They're trying to dodge. They can't go through Inman Street no more because of the underpass, the low bridge, and all that kind of stuff. That was the east and west connector because they talked about trying to get them to put an interchange at 75 over near Harrison Pike and all that, and it would go just straight shot, east and west. Well, it did not going to happen. But the 306 highway down there, exit 20, somewhere around in there, they put in a highway that's going to come in, and it'll go east and west. And so
I can't figure out where that would be.
It's down around the Tom Rowland interchange on
right,
near
so-
exit 20, somewhere in that
Will
area.
it parallel
It's
APD 40?
already- Yeah, it's already coming from the east. It's already down to the Hamilton County area, the 306 is. We just got to hook to it and get it routed at exit 20 somehow or another to go to APD 40 and go on up. But we're bringing it in, and
Who
they're
has to-
talking about bringing it all the way inside the city limits.
Who pays for that? I guess we have to buy land.
Yeah, but we get grants to do that. We get so many grants because we have done so much. We get grants,
That's what.
a lot of grants.
that's
federal
what,
grants, state grants.
That's what Kevin Brooks is good at, right? He's
TDOT.
yeah.
Yeah, he's good at it.
That's his thing.
He's good at it. Yeah, and then what you're doing is good because they look at those as to who gets the grants, who don't get the grant, who's progressive, who's not progressive. State, federal. They look at what's really going on, and Cleveland is a hot spot, and Cleveland is really doing what they said we were going to do. And
Let me
that's
ask
why
you
we
this.
get the grant.
You remember on Andy Griffith when they were having that they were against that guy that kept the the interstate from coming to the town,
Yeah.
and everybody was mad at him, and then Andy convinces everybody that had he have let the road come here, then they wouldn't have been the small town, and so Andy convinced everybody that the guy was actually a good guy.
Yeah.
I always think about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know the answer. Are we supposed to get bigger? I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the theory behind it?
Well, there is no theory. It's just the fact that it will get bigger.
So you're saying
there's
it's going.
laws that says people can live wherever they can afford to live.
So you're saying Cleveland's going to get bigger, whether we like it or not, and we've got to deal with it.
Well, but you can only get so big. We can't congest everything. That's what we're doing. Is trying to get away from the congested areas. We're trying to eliminate. We're trying to fix it, and they're cutting roads everywhere, all over Cleveland. We're repairing roads all over Cleveland. There's a lot of drains, a lot of sewage lines, all kind of stuff that was just wore out. But we're fixing all of them. With Cleveland Utilities and the city and the state, and and then we're getting so many grants to help us on a whole lot of stuff. And then we got a good city manager, that really, really understands the process as to what we need to do. And he's way ahead on all these things. He sees it a year or 2 years before it even gets here.
Is he a really a real forward thinker?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Very good. Extremely good. Yeah. And actually all of them that we've had, except some of them, a couple of them, but still most of them, they real aggressive people. They get a lot of exposure, attend a lot of state meetings, federal meetings, and all kinds of stuff. So they're out there, their names out there. Our names are even out there. And people know what we're doing. They know the makeup of the city. And they just, they're going to put the money right where they know it's needed and where it does the most good for the citizens of certain communities.
We think about the city manager as being the guy to call when the trash can's on the sidewalk downtown.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what he's got so much more to think about that he can't think about that.
No, he's not worried about that. Even though it's going to cross his desk.
But he can't, can he?
Yeah. No, I can take care of that. It's gotten that good where I can take care of that. Cause
if you can, I know who can.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
But
I know who does that.
It's gotten real good. A lot of the stuff now we do. I mean, the city council members and people that know you. When I first got elected, my family couldn't even vote for me because they weren't even in my district. Mm-hmm. Andrew was the only one that was in my district. But now that I'm at large, anybody all inside the city limits can vote for me, And it made a difference. It makes a difference. I know a lot of people. And now I got people calling me because I knew how to get stuff done. I can't give away all my secrets about how you get stuff done, but there are ways to get stuff done. And they knew I was one that would call them back and respond to them. I had a guy talk to me here about 2 weeks ago. He lives on Peerless Road, right across from the old farmer's market in this recycle area. Mm-hmm. He lived right across the street from it. He called me and said, Avery, I got a hole over here and the water just running any kind of way, every kind of way. And it's pretty bad. And I was getting ready to go on a council meeting. I said, I'll tell you what, you called me at the right time. I said, okay. And I walked over and I talked to a guy that works for the city. And I said, I want you to hear what this guy got to say. I said, go ahead. And he went. He told me everything. He said, Avery, I'm afraid to go down in it. I don't know if I can get back out of it now, And the very next day, because I let the person that I was going to get to help us fix that, the very next day, he went over and fixed that hole. He called me and said, Avery, I ain't never seen nothing like it. 1 day service.
That's what you got to do.
1 day service. I said, hey, and that's one thing you got to do as an elected official. You got to respond to the people. You got to answer the people. You got to know people, know where to go to get help in the city. And I've been there long enough to know. And I know how to do it. And so he said, I can't believe it, Avery. The problem I've had for the last 10 years I'll call you and you got it fixed in one day. You know,
And
but the timing was right.
some things you can't necessarily fix, right?
Right.
But when you can, you do.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And there's times when there are some things that comes up. I'm sorry, ma'am, I just can't help you with it. And I did that one time, and the guy sitting out in the audience, and he heard this whole debate and discussion going on. He came, he said, Avery, I've never seen nothing like this. He said, even though you couldn't help them, they were still thanking you. He said, because you tried. He said, that's all of us want, is whenever we have issues that come up in our neighborhood and all that, we just want to get them fixed. And if you can't fix it, at least try.
Do the right thing.
You know, but that's one thing you got to do. You got to be responsive if you're going to be an elected official. When people call you can't just ignore it. You need to answer them. You need to do what you can. And if you can't, you need to tell them the truth. You know, sorry, maybe it's on the agenda, maybe we can do this, but we got to wait on this. And usually that's the case.
Responding's not necessarily fixing the problem.
Right.
It's responding.
Letting them know, I got it. I got your message and I'm working on it. You know, I got one now, it's real simple, you know, and I see people every Sunday. They want to know, when you going to do this? When you going to do that? Well, it's coming because I've checked with them and I've seen the blueprint of it and all of that. And they just got to make sure they get it right, you know. But yeah, it's great though to help people, be able to help people. But there too, my training and my job at Maytag and all the responsibility they turn over to me, it helps you.
I'm gonna wager that it's not your training, that there was a mother or a grandmother that
Exactly
Oh
right.
yeah, ain't no doubt about that.
You're exactly
No
right.
doubt about that. I mean,
We
you
had
know,
the best training
yeah.
and a person that
Am I right?
we had the
you're
best
absolutely
training
right.
and plus
And
leadership.
you know-
She gave us made sure that we know how to make decisions.
Yeah.
And she sent us to the warehouse. Used to be down, you go under the viaduct and you turn back right, Jernigan's.
Yeah.
She sent us down there to get gum, candy, and all that.
All the
And
supplies.
so all the supplies. If you go down there, she'd tell you what she wanted. You go down there and you didn't get it. She said, now you didn't get my spearmint gum that I asked for. So that means you're going to have to go back. She said, oh yeah, by the way, come here. She said, stand still. She tied a string around that finger. And you wear that till you learn how to get that. You know, so that
I
teaches
remember
you,
those days.
that
Oh, yeah.
teaches
That
you how to
teaches
make
you.
decisions and make good decisions.
That's right.
You know, you just don't make a decision without thinking. She said, now you got a brain, so now y'all start using it.
That's a real simple thing to help you remember
Yeah.
that people don't do.
Yeah.
People don't do those little things anymore. And that, it really helped
The
us.
old people had some strange ways, but you didn't forget
They
them. I
were-
still remember some
Oh,
of the
yeah.
ways that they taught us. How
I
to
wonder
do
if
things.
we're teaching our kids that, or do we not know it, or
Every now and then,
kinda doubt it,
every
don't
now and then, you know, when you see them do something, you look at them, you say, "Thank you, Lord." That's when we know that they got it, you know. And I do that all the time. My grandkids.
well, raising kids
Yeah,
is the
but it's
scariest
tough.
thing there
It's
is.
a
It
challenge.
is. I'd hate to think I had
Yeah, they
take
get up against a
Andrew and
lot.
them
Those
come
kids
back
are up
to-
against a lot out there.
It's
It
a lot
really-
of challenges. It is.
Yeah. I volunteer, and I don't know about you, but all of us have. We volunteer to help kids go on. Used to go on trips with them and all this kind
Yeah.
of stuff, trying to teach them and everything. But every now and then you look back and you see them doing it right. And you say, oh, they were listening. Didn't think they were listening because they didn't respond well, but they were
It's
listening.
got to be something we do,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess.
It is, because I've heard him say, well, I can't hear what he said because of the way he lived, you know. So they look at you. They believe what they see, not necessarily what they hear.
And
But
maybe
if they
it
see
doesn't
you
ring
doing
till
things-
later.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
worked at. I went to work at Belk's after I left Whirlpool.
Park belts,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
That's Park Belts.
Park Belts.
Yeah.
I went to work there and I was 68 years old. And I'm talking about this some work.
Oh, you mean right up here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's some work.
Yeah.
I mean, nice people.
When you're
to
retired.
work for.
Yeah.
And
In the makeup department.
No, I was in the retail where
Retail.
you empty the trucks and
Oh.
put stuff on the floors, price it, stuff like that. And so, if you don't believe children watch what you do, I got a good example. My grandson was going to school in Lubbock, Texas, and he had a job on the side. Guess where he was at?
Where?
In retail. In the store. Well, Angie was getting tight on stuff. Guess what she did?
What?
She went to work at a store in retail. I said, oh, are they watching me?
Yeah.
And rest assured now, look, here's somebody that's in their 50s, and then the other one is just barely turning 21. But they sit and they watch what you do and how you are successful. And rest assured, whatever you do, it's going to come back to you. It'll haunt you if you don't do the right
The
thing.
good and the bad.
That's right.
Oh,
It
yeah.
will. And both of them, I said, I can't believe it. I told my wife, I said, I can't believe they both doing that. She said, well, that's what they wanted to do. I said, well, okay, as long as they ain't hurting for nothing, you know, they taking care of their responsibilities. And that's what happens in life. Do a good teaching job while you can. And it starts right here. From 1 to 3, that's where you mold them.
Well, I tell you what, I am looking forward to. This is not the end.
Yeah.
This is the beginning.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Well, I love you too, D. Appreciate
I
that.
appreciate you asking.
Enjoyed it.
Appreciate